Gentlemen, we got DiJonai Carrington once again. I mean, like, she just can't get out of her own way at this point, huh? From raking people across the head, playing victim, staying white privilege, wearing a blonde wig at that, right? Going on your phone, breaking league policy, facing no punishment, showing black privilege in this league, going at the white girl once again on August 23rd. Although it was your funeral last night, Caitlin Clark led your funeral. I enjoyed watching your funeral last night. It was pretty fun. But DiJonai Carrington, once again, more stuff just keeps coming out. She's bumping Caitlin Clark in the
Welcome back to the Clark Update. WNBA fans, a shocking situation is developing around Caitlin Clark, Stephanie White, and the New York Liberty. Reports and online speculation about a possible move involving Clark have sent fans into a frenzy, while questions are now being raised about whether Stephanie White could stand in the way of a potential trade. So, what exactly is happening behind the scenes? Why is Stephanie White reportedly making such a controversial move? And what could it mean for Caitlin Clark's future? There are a lot of questions surrounding this story, and today we're breaking down everything you need to know. Let's jump straight into the video and break it all down. You see that. Concentrate on that one picture while blocking out all the background noise, jerseys, and arena lights. Because the true story, the one that has the potential to alter the WNBA's whole power structure, was standing right there with Caitlin Clark while the cameras were focused on her conversation with the New York Liberty. That's Erin Kane, her agent. It wasn't a coincidence that she was in that tunnel. Music, it conveyed a message. This isn't simply another rumor about a disgruntled athlete. We're far deeper than that. This is the tale of how a player's greatest weapon might be used by one of the most potent agents in sports. The creation of the largest change in WNBA history through the negotiation of a new collective bargaining agreement. This is the backstory behind the narrative. Connecting the dots between a nagging ailment, a few choice comments from a coach, and a league-wide revolution that's poised to boil over. We will dissect the entire master plan in detail. Please click the like button if you are interested in the true story, the one that the mainstream media is unable to piece together. It indicates that you want more in-depth dives like this, and that we're headed in the right direction. You must first comprehend the motivation behind this power play in order to appreciate its brilliance. There's a reason why an agent like Erin Kane would take such a prominent stance. And in Indiana, that rationale has been growing throughout the entire season. The Fever's relationship with their franchise player is beginning to show signs of serious problems. The injuries are where it all begins. This season, Clark has missed 10 games for a variety of reasons, including 5 due to a left quad injury and 5 more owing to groin concerns. That raises serious concerns for a player who is renowned for her resilience. However, the injury itself isn't the true problem. It's how it's handled. Following her most recent groin injury, Clark's coach, Stephanie White, told the reporters that she was feeling a little something in her groin. Clark was clearly upset and crying on the bench a tiny bit. You are aware that language is crucial for the narrative analysts in attendance. That one sentence conveys a mismatch between a coach and the physical reality of her best players. It's the kind of remark that makes a player wonder if her health is really the most important thing. And that's precisely the kind of fuel an agent needs to begin looking into additional possibilities. However, the tale doesn't stop there. This divergence directly affects the in-court strategy and extends well beyond the trainer room. That philosophical gap is as harmful. The words spoken off the court are what really peel back the curtain, even if we've all witnessed everything unfold on the court. That's not a demand from a diva. This generational prodigy is telling her coach exactly how to help her reach her greatest potential. And how did the coaching staff react? Stephanie White has stated time and time again that she prefers having 2 main ball handlers on the floor. And she has made it clear that she does not want Clark to play under pressure from 94 feet the entire time she is on the floor. All right, let's take a moment to make these connections. Your franchise athlete who is selling out arenas and driving ratings on her own tells you that she performs best when she has the ball in her hands in open space. The official response is that you're worried about her playing under pressure. This is more than a small tactical difference. This is a basic misperception, or worse, a basic disregard for what makes your celebrity unique, and the fuse is being lit right there. A player calls their agent instead of simply complaining when they feel misinterpreted, misled, or abused. This takes us back to that picture of the tunnel at Barley Center that went viral. It was more than a casual post-game conversation. It was a well-thought-out action, a public demonstration of strategic communication. You have the unhappy celebrity. Music, Clark, the New York Liberty. The defending champions are represented by head coach Sandy Brondello and two key players, Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart. And in the center of it all is Erin Kane of Excel Sports Management, the architect and Clark's agent. This is how a power play starts. And since the shot was taken, a lot of you who are watching have been pointing this out. Was it a casual catch-up or a purposeful reminder to the Indiana front office that time is of the essence? Please share your opinions in the comments section. Music, because it goes beyond simply signing a new deal when an agent of Erin Kane's caliber becomes engaged in such a public manner. It's about controlling the circumstance by using every instrument at your disposal. She currently has her sights set on the ultimate tool, one that has the power to completely alter the league's regulations. A trade demand or a public grievance isn't the ultimate tool that can force the league to comply with a player's wishes. It's the CBA or collective bargaining agreement. Now, those of you who follow the league's business side are fully aware of what this is. For everyone else, however, consider the CBA to be the WNBA's constitution. Everything is governed by the master document that was negotiated between the players' union and the league. Pay player mobility, contract durations, benefits, and above all the regulations governing trades and free agency. This is the crucial piece of information. The players and the WNBA opted out of the previous contract. Thus, they are currently negotiating a whole new CBA. Currently, the league's whole power structure is being discussed behind closed doors. And you can bet that a star representing agent like Erin Kane is heavily involved in that discussion. At this point, the tactic transforms from straightforward dissatisfaction into a masterclass in leverage. Caitlin Clark is on a rookie deal, which skeptics will point out right away. She won't be able to sign a contract until 2028. She is a restricted free agent even in that case. They will claim that she is powerless, but that is a linear way of thinking. It's a game of checkers. Chess is being played by Erin Kane. She is not holding out until the end of the deal. The argument that ties everything together is that she is utilizing Indiana's public unrest and Clark's enormous popularity as leverage in the CBA negotiations. Now, we're getting into some serious conjecture, but it stems from the process by which these backroom agreements are reached. Assume you are negotiating with the league on behalf of the players' union. Your biggest star, the athlete who generates unheard of amounts of money and attention, is clearly dissatisfied with her circumstances. That can be used as leverage. You may make the case for new CBA regulations that grant players greater authority and mobility sooner. Is it possible that they are advocating for a reduction in the amount of time a team may retain a player in restricted free agency? Is it possible that they are advocating for new structures that facilitate trades and allow players on rookie agreements to express their preferences more easily? This is the 4D chess that takes place in the background. The details are still unknown. An agent considers more than just the upcoming contract for their client. They are considering revising the regulations governing all contracts. They create an issue that the new CBA must subsequently resolve by making Clark's predicament a public spectacle. A solution that would coincidentally directly help Clark. However, this chess game is not taking place on a blank board. This is taking place in the context of a ticking time bomb that might completely upend the league's competitive equilibrium. The massive player exodus of 2026 is that ticking time bomb. The majority of individuals are missing this context. They perceive Caitlin Clark's predicament as a standalone drama, but in reality, it's just the first part of a much larger production. Now that we're getting into insider reporting territory, this rumor is completely shocking every front office in the WNBA. League sources claim that an astounding 87.5% of this year's 2025 WNBA and 2026, the All-Stars are expected to become unrestricted free agents. Allow me to reiterate that it's possible that almost 9 out of 10 All-Stars in the league will be available at the same moment. It's not a drill. This might change the league. The teams have no matching rights while they have unrestricted free agency. The players now have complete control. They are free to join with any team for any reason, and their previous squad is unable to stop them. We're discussing a talent movement that has the potential to build super teams in a couple of weeks and destroy others overnight. All of the current competitive landscape is about to be tossed into a blender. Now consider the timing. Just ahead of this enormous wave, Caitlin Clark and her agent are taking action. They are not responding to the market. It's being set by them. Every single one of those 2026 free agents will be watching them as they develop the blueprint for superstar empowerment. Aaron Kane and Caitlin Clark won't—
Oh my goodness. DiJonai Carrington bookmarking this day just to get embarrassed by Caitlin Clark. The big bad wolf coming through, blowing houses down until she tried to blow down the Caitlin Clark brick house that was built by DiJonai. This lady was 3 for 11. 3 for 11, 0 for 3 from the 3. A terrible performance. My goodness. Tried to come out and take the show, right? Tried to create her moment. And guess what, DiJonai? Now your name is DiJonai Carrington. Who cares?
Caitlin Clark is not just another player in the WNBA. Her arrival dramatically increased the level of attention surrounding the league. And wherever her career goes next, millions of fans are going to be watching. If the new CBA changes the rules surrounding contracts, free agency, player movement, or negotiations, those changes could affect Clark and countless other players for years to come. That is the real story. Music. This isn't only about Indiana. It isn't only about New York, and it isn't only about one superstar potentially changing teams someday. It's about how much control professional athletes should have over their careers, how teams build around franchise players, and how a rapidly growing league adapts when its biggest stars have more leverage than ever before. And if the 2026 free agency landscape becomes as dramatic as many analysts expect, the WNBA could look very different by this time next year. Teams could make aggressive moves. Stars could explore new opportunities. Front offices could completely change their strategies. And players could find themselves with more influence over where and how they want to build their careers. That is why Caitlin Clark's situation is so fascinating. Even if no trade happens, even if she remains with Indiana, and even if the Liberty connection turns out to be nothing more than a friendly conversation, the discussion itself tells us something important. Fans are paying attention. The media is paying attention. Front offices are paying attention. And every major decision involving Clark is going to be examined from every possible angle. So now we want to hear from you. Music. Do you believe Caitlin Clark is simply focused on getting healthy and continuing her career with the Indiana Fever? Or do you think the current situation could eventually lead to a major change? Was that Liberty interaction simply friendly music, or do you think there could be more behind it? And most importantly, do you believe the new CBA could give WNBA stars significantly more control over their futures? Drop your opinion in the comments, because this conversation is far from over. Music, and don't just leave after commenting. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. It helps this channel reach more WNBA fans who want analysis beyond the surface-level headlines. If you're new here, subscribe to the Clark Update and turn on notifications because we're going to keep following every development surrounding Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, the New York Liberty, and the future of the WNBA. And here's the part you definitely don't want to miss. If something changes in the CBA, if an official trade request ever happens, if the Fever make a major roster decision, or if Caitlin Clark herself addresses any of these rumors, that changes the entire conversation immediately. That's why we're not going to jump to conclusions. We're going to watch the facts. We're going to separate confirmed news from speculation. And we're going to connect the dots as new information becomes available. Because in a league moving this fast, today's rumor can become tomorrow's headline. But only the facts can tell us what the story really is. So stay locked in, stay informed, and keep the conversation going. This is the Clark Update. And if you think this story is already big, just wait to see what happens next. We'll be right here covering it all. Until the next update, keep watching, keep questioning the headlines, and most importantly, Keep your eyes on the game because the next chapter of Caitlin Clark's WNBA story could be closer than anyone realizes.